Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Puan Juliana Hamka binti Kamarudin. I'm going to teach you, this course. The title of the course name is Data Visualization and Information Reporting. And the first chapter, is called Introduction. Before that, I want to welcome all of you to UITM. And I hope that we can work together throughout the semester, and hopefully we will have a smooth journey. um, yes, it's going to be a challenging semester, but I'm sure that you will go through it. So before we start further, so let us see what are the chapter outline for this chapter. This chapter is divided into two parts. So we have the first part is overview of data, where in this part, we're going to learn the definition of information, data, what are the differences between data and information, and how do you define data processing cycle, and then what is big data. So I'm sure you have heard of big data, and then what are the types of big data, and what are the characteristics of big data. And then before we go to the next subtopic, so we're going to see what is the definition of data science. So basically in this first part, we're going to understand the difference between data and information, and then we learn about big data, and also the last one is the third one is data science, because you might heard of all these words. So you have to know the difference between those three. And in the second part, overview of data visualization. So we're going to learn the definition of data visualization, and we want to know why it is very important. And then also we want to know the functions of visualization, and then how do we see data visualization today. And then what are the pros and cons, or the advantages and disadvantages of data visualization, and also the future of data visualization. So the lesson objectives, we hope that we're going to achieve all these objectives. The first one is to understand the difference between data and information, right? And second one is to describe what is big data, its characteristics and its sources. And the last one is to understand the concept of data visualization. So 1.1, overview of data. Definition of data. Data is raw, unorganized facts that is required to be processed to make it meaningful. So meaning that data is something that you cannot make a conclusion out of it. So data is a representation of facts, concepts or instructions in a formalized manner, and is suitable for communication, interpretation or processing by human or electronic machine. What are the examples of data? It could be alphabets, it could be numbers, digits, and it could be special characters. So we cannot conclude anything that is significant from data. In order to call it as an information, so it has to go through a process. Now what is information? So information is organized or classified data that has gone through a process to make it meaningful. So please beware of all these blue highlighted words. This could be the keywords to the definition of information. So information is organized or classified data that has gone through a process to make it meaningful according to given requirements. So meaning that what do we want to produce, or what do we want to process the data into? So the requirements are given to us. okay, where the requirements will bring values to users. Okay, so user meaning that the person or the people or the organization or the party that wants that information, okay, to be utilized by them. Okay, for example, okay, since you are the first semester of student, I just have maybe information about your name and your student ID. Okay, I cannot conclude anything about you, your background, okay, your performance, okay, until I collected some data about your performance through the quizzes, for example, maybe assessment, tests, your assignment. Then only at the end of the semester, okay, I will process all the marks, okay, after you have taken all the assessments, and then I can conclude your performance, okay, for DSC 119. So I can produce, okay, your grades, okay. So we will know that the grade will actually show, okay, your performance, or it could be a feedback, okay, a feedback to me and even to the university, okay, regarding your acceptance or your understanding towards the course. Okay, so that's what we call as information. Okay, so at the beginning I just got your name and your student ID, and then the fact that we don't actually see face to face, so it also make it more challenging. Okay, that's why I need to have the meeting to be I need you to on your camera. Okay, I also need to view your photo profile from you future, so that I can imagine, okay, who you are. Okay, all right. So that's the difference between data and information. And the characteristics of for meaningful data, or we can also say that meaningful data means as information. Okay, information. So it has to fulfill all these four characteristics. Okay, it has to be timely, meaning that the information should be available when it is required. Okay, where means the delay in obtaining the information renders it's useless. Okay, and then accuracy. Okay, the information has to be accurate. Okay, because it has a significant impact on the decision making. Okay, so the possibility of even slightless error should be minimized. Okay, so that is why when I store your information, okay, I need you to, I mean, if I don't get your full name spelled correctly, or maybe your student ID number is not complete, then it's not completed, okay, when you filling a form, so then if it's not accurate, and if I want to, for example, store your marks or your grade into this academic system, it would be an error. Okay, the information is not accurate, and it could lead to severe mistakes. Okay, and the third one is completeness. Okay, so information should be complete. So if it's not complete, it will cause inaccurate data. Okay, incorrect, and also it can produce unintended results. Okay, so that's why completeness is very important. And the information also has to be comprehensive, meaning that information which is incomprehensible, meaning that it is useless for the receiver. Okay, it's like as if you are not getting the full information, okay, about something. So it becomes a case of information failure, as the sender sent the information, but it was no use for the receiver. So thus, we cannot call that as information. Okay, so that is very important. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 characteristics for meaningful data, or for what we call information. Information has to be timely. Okay, it has to be available when we need it. As it has to be accurate, it has to be complete, and it has to be comprehensive. Okay, so this is data processing cycle. Okay, so how can we transform data, okay, into information? Okay, so this is the diagram, okay, to describe the process. And so let's see what is the definition or the explanation for data processing cycle. So data processing cycle is a series, consists of a series of stages. Okay, stages means all these steps, okay, where it includes the input process, processing, output, and storage, which are carried out to extract information, okay, from data, from raw data, okay, and then it will be processed into information. Okay, you can see the arrow. So data is input into the processing. So the processing here is actually within okay, a CPU or a computer or a system, okay, and then it will produce as output, okay. And it can also be in cyclic order, meaning that the information, okay, once it is being produced, it can be re-inputted back into the system. Okay, it can become input and also feedback to the system. It will be processed and produced as output. Okay, and also the storage and output. Okay, this is the storage and output. Okay, so here output can be re-input, as I mentioned before, as feedback, and it can also be stored as a storage so that we can, okay, we can here, okay, we can access to that information later. Okay, it can be accessed, okay, later. So that's why we have to keep the information in the storage. Okay, so you can refer to this site for the diagram, but it's just a common diagram. Okay, so make sure you know, okay, the how do you want to show, okay, the process. Okay, the arrows is very important, okay, and the steps are very important. And so these are the definition for each stages. Okay, what is input? So input is actually whatever the computer or the system receives data and instruction as input. It could be in terms of text, audios, images, or videos. And then the processing here, yeah, the processing stage, where the input is actually being processed to produce data in a more useful form. Okay, so data will be processed. Data is input to the system, will be processed as output. Okay, it will go the process through processing here in the CPU. Okay, and then it will produce as output. Okay, so it becomes information. For example, we want to calculate paychecks. Paychecks is the salary, okay, for employees. Okay, we calculate from the time cards, from the punch card. Okay, the time that the employee clock in to the work, and then when they go home. Okay, so we will count the time that they were present at work. And then we can also produce, for example, sales of months calculated from sales order. Okay, sales of months. Okay, so those are the processing. How can we change from data into information? And then for the output is the result of the processed information based on users' needs. Okay, so whatever that user needs based on users' requirement, needs mean requirements. So we will do the processing and we will produce the output. So the output will be used as it could be used, okay, as input in the future. That's what we meant by output here. It goes back as feedback. Okay, feedback and input. Okay, so for the storage, okay, of course, all data or information output that we produce will be stored for future use so that it is there. You can easily or quickly access, okay, the information. Okay, everyone can access the information. So they can be kept in the best suitable format, okay, and in the best available medium storage. Okay, so it could be as in secondary storage or it also could be on cloud storage. Okay, so the format also will depends, okay, on the requirements of the user.